All right, the Patriots have wrapped up their 2024 draft, came in with 8 prospects, 7 on the offensive side of the ball. And guys, for me, this is my favorite time of the draft. Here's your guys. Go check them out, scout them. How are they going to fit into the Patriots? Evan, I know you enjoy the process too, but it's kind of a relief to get to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of weight off your shoulders, especially for somebody like me that's been poring over these prospects since January, to finally know the guys at the Patriots draft. And I think the one thing we've been talking about a lot is that it's cool to have a quarterback and 2 receivers that can now go out and grow together over the next 4 or 5 years, all under contract, all Patriots for the long haul. And it reminds me a lot of what's going on in Green Bay right now. And I'm not just saying that because of the Elliott Wolf connection, but it's partially because of that, and also partially because I think there's a lot of comparisons between Jordan Love and Drake Maye as well, just in terms of players. But you have Jordan Love surrounded by Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, your guy last year, Jaden Reed, and they're just building this thing together in Green Bay, and everybody's young and everybody's under contract, and there's not a lot of doubt about the future in that team right now. And for the Patriots, you just hope that Drake Maye, Ja'Lynn Polk, and Javon Baker can be that same foundation that they can build with moving forward, and obviously continue to add to it. But those 3 guys coming in together, the same rookie class, hopefully that's the future nucleus of this Patriots offense.
Yeah, that's the headline for me. Weaponize the offense. That's what we heard from Elliott Wolf back in the combine, and I think that's what they tried to do, not just with the guys you mentioned, Jaheim Bell as well at the end.
Don't sleep on Jaheim Bell.
Go ahead. Tell us why.
Don't sleep on Jaheim Bell. Look, I thought that they got great value with this pick. If they had picked Jaheim Bell in the 4th round, I would have been like, oh, all right, that's a little early for Jaheim Bell. But the 7th round, that's really good value for this player. What I see with him, for Patriots fans, probably pretty familiar name, like a Jonnu Smith light, so one of those H-back, off-the-line tight end types, really good with the ball in his hands, explosive mover, 4.61 40-yard dash, up in the upper echelon for tight ends. He can move. He's not necessarily a great blocker. He's undersized, but if you put him in the right role, especially in this Alex Van Pelt wide zone offense, wide zone, bootleg off of it, have him catch the ball in the flat and run with it, I think they're going to have opportunities to get him the football.
Yeah, for me, I love Ja'Lynn Polk. He was one of my favorites. I mean, and let's face it, let's give a little credit to us. I mean, you got 4 of the guys on your big board, 3 on mine, a couple mock draft guys.
I better get 4 after how much work I put into that.
That's true. That's why I'm okay losing to you. But, I mean, I think it shows we were just in the general right area of what the Patriots needed. But, again, I love Ja'Lynn Polk. Yeah. Love Javon Baker, too, as well. Seems like he's got a little bit of an edge to him, which I like. I think those guys are going to be exciting. So that's the big top takeaway overall. I'd say the second one is reinforcing the offensive line, Evan. And I think if there was maybe, one thing that we came in thinking they got to get a tackle, we saw the run kind of happen. They took Caden Wallace, who played right tackle. We've heard now that people seem to think that he could play on the left side as well. But like a lot of the guys they already have on the team, it's not a certainty. None of these guys are pure left tackle. So if there was one question for me coming out of this draft, what happens at left tackle? Seems like there's going to be competition.
Yeah, I think it's easy for us to say in hindsight, oh, they should have traded up and drafted a Kingsley Suamataia or a Patrick Paul or something like that. But we knew order of operations was going to matter. And whichever position they left for 68 was going to be a player that wasn't going to be as exciting as the first 2 picks, obviously, that they took in the draft. So they had to pick. Are we going to wait for receiver or are we going to wait for tackle? They decided to wait for tackle, which meant that they got a player in Caden Wallace, who I think a lot of people project can be a starter in this league, whether it's at right tackle or guard, maybe not on the left side, we'll see. But the bottom line is that one of these positions was going to slip through the cracks a little bit compared to the others, and it just happened to be tackle. I'll say it again. I think the team's a lot higher on Chuks Okorafor than the outside noise is, us included, I think, to a degree. They seem to like him a lot, to play on the left side especially. That gives them a bridge year maybe to build, and next year we'll be talking about tackles in the 1st round most likely, and we'll go that direction instead with it. They weren't going to they might address all 3 needs, but they weren't going to hammer all 3 needs. It wasn't like they were going to get it perfect, where they were going to get stud players at quarterback, receiver, and tackle, especially at those 3 spots that are such premium positions on the offensive side of the ball. It's really difficult to hit all 3 of those in a draft.
All right, so last takeaway, just one lone defender. A guy like me, I like defense. Marcellus Dial from South Carolina, cornerback, the only defender they took. Now, we kind of had a feeling that this might be coming in, and, of course, this week we saw Christian Barmore signed a big extension. Kyle Duggar signed a big extension this year. Anthony Jennings as well. So Patriots have made some long-term moves there on the defensive side of the ball to shore things up. So, Evan, I guess what I'm thinking is we're kind of going in. I know there are some undrafted rookies that will come in as well and maybe, pursue. We saw them brought in some defensive backs. They brought in some second-level guys as well. But you know, it seems like we're going to kind of roll with the defense as it was kind of last year somewhat.
Well, I think the benefit of it is that Gerard Mayo spoke about this actually a little bit after the draft. The second and third year guys now have an opportunity to play. And what you didn't necessarily want to do was take a Keon White, a Marty Mapu, draft another guy, and now all of a sudden you're burying people and who's going to play where, or you sign a veteran player, and now those rookies and those younger guys don't get that playing time and that opportunity, especially now in the spring and summer when those reps in training camp can be so valuable. So let those guys go out there and either sink or swim. If Keon White ends up blossoming into a great player, then great. If he doesn't, then it's a need next year. And you sort of go along the way that way. I also wouldn't completely rule out signing a veteran free agent that's still out there at this point. You know, Stephon Gilmore, maybe a little reunion, you know, something like that, that just solidifies some of the spots on the defense with another proven commodity.
I throw Kevin Harris just in there too, in that mix kind of on the offensive side of the ball, but another young guy. They didn't really draft a running back, thought maybe they would, so maybe a chance for Kevin Harris. So that's going to do it for the 2024 draft. But of course, the NFL season, it never sleeps here. We go right on to mini camp, OTAs. We'll be getting to look at these guys in the coming weeks. So we're excited to do that, do our analysis, and see how it's all going to come together for the Patriots. But certainly some exciting times here after the 2024 NFL draft.